Just waiting for my guests to pop in. How you doing? Hi, guys. Just gonna be a minute or two. There she is. Oh, let's see if we can get her to join. Hey, Miss Wynn. Hey, there you go.
I'm trying to learn how to sort this out and set it up. I say, Lord, I don't think I have this. I had it set up where it would sit in my ring light, but then it won't show the proper perspective. So I was like, well, I'll hold it then.
But you made it. You made it.
Yes. I'm so excited.
So, how was your day?
Good. How was your day?
It was good. It was very good. So, we're going to introduce you to all our
Okay.
fans out here. Everybody, this is Dollyah.
Hi.
She is the author of several children's books.
Thank you.
One of which is an affirmation book for little kids, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yes.
So, Dollyah, tell them a little bit more about yourself.
So, I am a children's book author, but I'm starting a whole children's book brand. That'll mean that I'll have the books, I'll have activity books, I'll have journals, I'll have a lot of different things. And the goal, honestly, is for me to become a whole cartoon brand, so on and so forth. So you are witnessing me in my very, very humble beginning.
So I can say I knew you when.
Yeah. We can say we knew each other. You're big already.
There you go. There you go. We're all working. Yes.
Yes.
So let me ask you, outside of books, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, you have any other hobbies? What's your professional background outside of books?
So, oh man. So professionally, I have I like to, well, writing is pretty much most of what I like to do for a hobby. But professionally, I've always done apartments, believe it or not. That's where my professional background is from when I started working on my own through now, actually, I still work in apartments. So working in apartments has always been kind of what I've done. And I love it because I meet lots of characters doing that.
I'm sure you do.
You meet people's honest selves when you're working with their homes. Like so lots of inspiration, lots of experience there. But yeah, that is pretty much what I would do. That's what I do for my day job as of right now.
And where are you located right now?
I am in Atlanta.
Okay, born and raised, or?
I am actually born and raised from Miami, Florida, and I moved up to Atlanta about 3 years ago. But because property management was my field, I moved all over. I've been in Mississippi, I've been in Alabama, I've been some of everywhere.
Wow, that's a lot more than me. I'm in New York, and I have not been that many places. But I've heard a lot of good things about Atlanta, so
Yes.
they must be good if they got you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So what led you to start writing?
So honestly, I have written all my life, is what I would call it. Since I was 8 years old, my grandmother was a writer. She was really known in Miami, where I'm from, for a lot of things. And so she introduced writing to me, and I picked it up immediately. And I was very big on writing poetry when I was younger. And then, of course, you write short stories for school. I won some awards. My teachers were like, "Hey, she's really talented."
Nice.
So it just continued. It continued from there.
And it was always focused on children's books, or did you dabble in, like you said, poetry or young adults?
So children's books is new for me. That is a new thing for me based on where my life is going. But at that time I was a child, so I was writing things from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I wrote some stories. I wrote books that are probably never gonna come out. Like,
You never
just
know.
because I don't know, you know how that is. I just wrote, these were things that just had to happen. So I just wrote them. They were not written with an audience in mind or anything. This was just, I need to get
Get
this
it
out
out.
on paper, and make this person, this character, and so on real. So children's books, though, based on what I realized my desire and goal was as a person, is kind of how I decided I was gonna attack it. And so I've learned that a lot of the things that I'm learning now, I'm shaping myself into the adult I truly really want to be. um as you're doing that, you'll find that some of your biggest hurdles are things that you've been carrying, or misconceptions now that you're an adult about yourself or about life you've had since you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately my thought was, while I want to correct this, while I'm trying to get to a certain goal, I need to then start with the core. And if I can take this message or these things that I'm learning now and try to be another person that can help that along for children,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what I'm going to do.
That's awesome. And that's so true. A lot of the misconceptions that we have about ourselves start as children. So
Yes.
then in hindsight, we can work to correct those in other people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's awesome. And I see your logo in the back.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yes.
So
Yes.
adorable. How did you come up with that?
So, when I was trying to figure out the name brand for my children's books, I wanted to think of what I wanted to represent kids most, and I knew I wanted.
We lost your audio.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
When I started to look up, sorry, when I started to look up things that I wanted to represent my brand, and I was just looking up kids' logos to look, everything seemed so divisive, even though it was trying to bring diversity. It was a different type of color kid. And I was like, that's not it. I'd rather do an animal. I want to do something everybody can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it started there, and then I started to look up different type of animals, and I've always had like a fascination with deer, being from Florida and being in Georgia. And so I went to look it up from there, and then Fawn Fables was pretty much born after that, when I started to learn about deer and how they are and how defenseless they can be, but how strategic. They are already born to try to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, I was like, this is it, this is the animal. And so once I did that, I learned what the girl, deer was called. And immediately when I heard doe, I was like, oh, that's a name. That is a name. That is a person. And so then I just went from there.
I love it. So when you write, are you like, I know some authors, me in particular, I just say I do better like early in the morning writing. I get inspiration early in the morning. Are you morning, afternoon? Doesn't matter.
I can write at any time, but I won't lie. I am right there with you. Early in the morning, when everything is asleep, when the world's asleep, when things aren't moving, and it's just me and my thoughts, they can really come alive. So if I had to pick a precise precise time that I'd prefer to write, it would definitely be wee hours of the morning, twilight style. Yes.
Yeah, like 3 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy because like that's how I started writing my first book. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. And it's just crazy how so many other authors have said the same thing. Where it's just like that time. Whenever somebody said nighttime is when everybody sleeps. So for her, it's the best time for her to write. And it's true. When there's nothing else going on and it's just you and your thoughts and the words, then it's like you can just flow and everything just comes out.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
yes.
that's cool. Do you have any habits like when you're writing? Do you have tea? Do you have coffee? Music
Yes.
playing?
So when I'm writing initially, and if it hits me, I just start the character. But once I start the characters, because sometimes I can't write and just finish. So once I've started the character and I realize what's happening, then I put myself in that position. That's the kind of food I'm hungry for, is kind of how it works. So if I'm writing something upscale, or if I'm writing something wacky or crazy, I'll do a different type of snack, something that stands out. I just stay in that moment, in that mood, and my food follows. If I want to put on something like an outfit, that follows. Sometimes if I'm writing a type of character and I have time, because it's a whole creative process, I'll read a short book that I think represents that, to refresh. There's a lot to the craft for me, so that I can really give it everything that it deserves.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite book or a favorite author?
Yes. So My favorite author is um Dr. Seuss. Now, I used to read a lot of Shel Silverstein books too because poetry was my thing. But Dr. Seuss has always just struck me as somebody I wanted to be like, just because I felt like he was able to reach everyone in the room, and he did it without using actual words. And I think for me that was profound and just kind of stuck with me. He
Mm-hmm.
can say things that don't make any sense, but the smartest person in the room understood, and the person that may not be the most educated also understood. And to be able to do that and hold that balance, if you've been in front of any speaker, is a delicate thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always appreciated that and wanted to emulate it.
Very nice. Now, when you're writing, do you like plot out the whole story, or, every page, or do you kind of just pants it?
Okay, so sometimes a character's hot, and I always say character because that's what I do. I write people, I give them room to be themselves. That's the first thing about me. If I see a character and I learn a story, I definitely give it its room to create, so that character comes alive. If that character's hot and it's just coming to me, I write whatever I feel like it's saying it wants to be. I mean, I paint that whole story and I just go. um if a character comes and it just stands there in my mind, is how I feel like, and it's just like, I'm this character and I represent this, then in that mind I'm saying to myself, okay, you need to plot a story behind him. Then this is the message he wants to give. He doesn't care where he gives it. This is the message he wants to give. So now I draw the story and then I try to connect it and kind of get the approval from the character, and I'll know if it works right. Like if it won't fit, then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then what is it? Like, what do you want to
Mm-hmm.
do?
Yeah, you don't force it though.
Yes.
So, how many books do you have total right now?
Out published, I have 4. In this house, in pages, and everywhere else, I don't know.
I know there's a lot of work in progresses, right? And,
But,
and your most recent published was which book?
the last book I published was Stony the Vegan, I believe is the last one. Nope, Brown with the Crown. She was written first. That's why I couldn't remember. She was written first, but she was published last. Brown with the Crown is the last one I published.
Okay. So I've read your affirmation book.
Yay!
And do you have a favorite affirmation in this book?
Yes.
Which one is your favorite before I say which one was mine?
My favorite one is the one with the little brown girl and the little white girl. That's my favorite one.
When they're
What?
holding hands.
Yes, that is my favorite one. Which one
So
was yours?
mine was, I will defend you and commend you when you are doing your best, because you are also greatness and it is contagious. You are tied to my success. I like that one.
Thank you.
And I really felt like that could apply to, not even just kids, but if
Yes.
the whole world saw
Yes.
each other like this,
Yes.
like we are tied to each other's success. If I
Yes.
win, you win.
Yes.
Like that would just, we would be better. We would be in such a better space if everybody believed that.
And that is what my goal was when I was writing that. Because I feel like and the story behind that book is I was writing to myself actually. I was trying to do something and I started to feel jealousy from a side of me, from somebody around me. And it really bothered me because it was somebody that I was cheerleading and I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm upset about something, it doesn't always manifest up front. It'll mess with me psychologically and then it comes out and it becomes, I get really ugly, but it's a gradual thing. So my thought is, and I've learned as I've gotten older, I was like, if something's festering you and it's going to make you do that, you need to write that out. You need to get out. And now that I read books that are self-help and they are really about channeling your mental in the right area, I said, instead of writing out that anger, you need to write the solution, write the message you really want this person to feel. Because it's not that you are wanting to just get back at them for being upset. What message is it that you're trying to give? And so I wrote the message to both myself and the person who was affecting me that way. And that is what came out.
That's good. That is very good. When I was younger and I would get upset, I would write things down and then burn the paper. I was just like, I never got caught, playing with matches, but that's what I used to do. But it's true. Writing things down, journaling, poetry, like it's cathartic and it's really important for mental health. Like once you get that out, you can feel the load lighten.
Yes. And I think the biggest thing that we have as humans is our ability to communicate and give each other a message.
Mm-hmm.
And as I learned that, and, you know, reading books and stuff, I realized it's that important. Everything is coming down to communication, what you're feeling, what you can get across to people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you do what you can control. But now that I have that and I understand that I have the power of words, I work really hard to try to articulate my message. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm normally trying to come from a place in my heart. So I don't want people, when we're having a misunderstanding, to mistake my frustration with them not understanding me, or me not being able to convey myself properly,
Yeah.
with a dislike for them, with a dislike for who they are. So it's important that I try my best to articulate my words to get my message across.
And you, like you said, you have 4 books.
Yes.
So what are the messages in each of those 4 books?
Oh, so as you know, I Am Greatness is about celebrating each other's differences together, and it's about self-love and self-acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Worth the Wood is about persistence. That is my champion book. It has such a bigger picture behind it.
I like the title too. I did. I really like that.
But that is my champion book, and the message behind Worth the Wood is set goals and accomplish them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you do it with somebody or you have to do it alone, you invite people on your journey. You don't force them, and you don't stop. And so that is what Worth the Wood is about. Brown with the Crown was about celebrating each other's differences, because obviously we're talking about her skin, but it was more so all about overcoming circumstances you can't help. I want kids to know there are going to be times where your circumstance may not be set up for you to win, and you still can overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you read that book, you'll see what happens there with that. And then the last one is Stony the Vegan. I wrote that in collaboration with a vegan chef of mine, a friend of mine, and she wanted a children's book about being vegan. And one of the things that we wanted to zone in on is, a lot of times, just like adult vegans, children vegans are isolated, because you take kids over. I go hang out at my friend's house, his mom buys pizza.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily eat
Mm-hmm.
pizza. I go over, not in that way at least. You want to pick kids up. Oh, we're going to go to McDonald's. Now I've got fries and apples when I go, So
Yeah.
it was about widening that view and not putting them in a basket of saying they're excluded. I can eat the same snacks you do in my own way, be open to the way that I eat. And so, again, celebrating each other's differences together and respect.
Wow. And what was your biggest struggle in completing, the books?
The hardest book, honestly, was to complete, and was completed one of the fastest, was Worth the Wood, because for whatever reason, I didn't want Wood to be what it turned out to be. So I wrote that book and rewrote that book and changed that book, because I had an idea of what I thought it needed to be, and it kept coming out to be something else. And so it's set. For that book has been written for a while, but I didn't want to promote it or publish it, because I didn't think it was what I wanted it to be. And I'm so glad I did, because now it definitely is exactly what I wanted it to be. It just didn't feel like it at the time.
Right. Do you find marketing hard? Because I do.
Yes, I find marketing so hard, because I need to learn the craft more. That's the first thing. I need to educate myself and learn the craft more. And I'm too close to the forest to see the trees right now, because this is my baby,
Yeah.
and I want to present it to those who want to see it. And I have a respectable person, like they say in church. I don't just want everybody to buy my book at first, but I learned that's not it. That's not how message is conveyed. And you can't control people. You can't tell them how the art is. You can't select you get a target audience. Yes. You get a direction. Yes. But you put it out there in ways that people can find it applicable to them. And you do have to go out of your way sometimes to lead a horse to water, even if he is the one thirsty. That's still, what is your goal? Are you the warrior? Are you trying to get rid of the water, or what? So it's one of those things that I think the challenge with marketing more than anything is myself, because I need to have the discipline to learn more about it. And then I need to have the discipline to understand that it may cause me to do things. And in my mind, I'm like, I shouldn't have to go through all that. But you do. that is what being a salesman is. You've got to knock on their door, meet them where they are so you can get their hard-earned money. This is the requirement. So
Yeah.
that is the part that I think I find the hardest.
Have you ever had somebody, negatively receive your work or try and stop you or put you down or just speak negativity over you?
You know what I have had, and I'll tell you this, because I'm a very upfront, honest person, and I think I make it hard for a person to just come at me with negativity so far. But I have had people belittle it and say, "Oh, that's cute, but it probably won't. Don't be disappointed if
it doesn't sell, if nobody wants
and it's not necessarily a book, really. I've had a lot of that, and it was stifling because the people who was coming from, believe it or not, were not as far away from me in social circle as they should have been to be feeding me that. But that's how it works.
Yeah, it's always the people closest to you.
And however, what I will say to you is the same people, and again, I don't know if it was their intention or not. That's why it doesn't matter. Now, gravy train. Now, biggest one. Now, but had I not pushed through, had I decided to take that in, because I really think sometimes when people are being that way, they don't even know the lasting impression they had or that they're being that negative. Sometimes some people are sometimes it's just like I mean, I guess I wouldn't do it, I can't see the value in it, and they don't recognize it.
The seeds that they're planting and how it affects you.
Yes. And so that, I think, is more so what was happening with me. But I had already decided, and that's one thing about success. When you decide that you're going to do something, it can hurt, it can be, frustrating, but you can't stop. That decision is a permanent decision, especially when you let it get deep rooted into who you are in my everyday. I had already decided when I showed them the book that I was going to be an author. I had already decided that I had this dynasty I was building. I had already bought my logo. There was no turning back.
Yeah.
So whether it was considered a book or not, or maybe it was accepted, it was happening. Because I had already done it.
I get it.
So that was it.
Yeah, and I've encountered that. I've had people I don't even know send me DMs talking about, because I write Christian fantasy, right? So I've had people in my DMs telling me I shouldn't be writing it. I should be ashamed of myself. Like, magic and Christianity don't mix. Like, I've had people say this. And it's like, if you cannot listen to those, those voices, because what was placed into your spirit, the story that you have to tell. And you just have to honor that. And, if they don't get it, then it wasn't meant for them. It's meant for who is supposed to read the book.
I've always, and it's the thing that puzzles me, and I know I'll never get the answer to it, is when somebody comes out of the blue, out of their corner, their special place that God has gave them on the earth, to where you're being fruitful, to bring you information that has like, you see me building a house and you come from where you are and you tell me that house is not gonna, how did you do that?
Yeah, like, what made you think I wanted your opinion? Like,
it is so funny. And we had this conversation at work once because people were talking about all these different things that they saw this person doing. And they were so involved, and they were asking me why I was so quiet. And I didn't mean to be a jerk. I was in my head like, I honestly just don't care. I don't care. I can't find the amount of concern that you have.
Yes.
And I asked them, I was like, so I'm just asking, depending on how we weigh in on this, is it going to change what they're doing?
Exactly.
Are we saying that they're taking away from our job here when they do? Help me. What is the, and then of course,
what's the purpose of
it? Got a little testy and it felt weird. I didn't, and then it comes off like I'm being snooty, but it's not that. I'm just in my head like, why is that how we spend our time? Why is that what we're doing?
Yeah, Leah commented. She said, "Yep, they can keep it moving."
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always been puzzled to wonder, like, what made you come from what you were doing? And I've seen people doing things, and if I thought that it didn't make sense and I wanted to help, I would do what I could in the best way that I knew how to drop that knowledge around them and see if they stumble on it, because I never want to be negative. But to just come up to a person and be like, that's dumb, or just drop negativity and not have a solution along with what I see the problem is, I've never been that type of it. that just never interested me. I just feel like that was a waste of breath I'll never get back. Like,
yeah. And it's worse if you don't already have that type of relationship with them. You know, if you don't have the kind where they can approach you with that, why what's the purpose behind this comment? Like, what are you trying to achieve here?
at all. And I used to get a bad rap for being selfish, because I'd always tell people to each his own and some more. Like, I could care less. Like, unless it was involving me, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
concerned. Like, if people be like, you're so, but it's not that I'm being selfish. You're asking me to voluntarily care about somebody else that is not going to affect me. I don't know. Where would I get, where's the benefit in that?
See, I knew I liked you. I knew it. Okay, we got to get back to the books.
Sorry, yes.
Okay. So,
hopefully we're not bored. I hope we're not. Y'all say something in the comments to let us know we're not boring, y'all. Please, this is one of my first interviews. Y'all give me some feedback. Give me some heart. What are the popular emojis? Is it hearts? Give me hearts.
Hearts, claps, thumbs up. You're doing good, Dolly. Okay, next question. What is one fun quirk that you have?
Fun quirk. I think I'm just a quirky person altogether. So if I had to, I don't know. What is one fun quirk that I have? I'm not gonna lie. I really wish I could explain to you. When I say I get into a character, I get into the character, and I think that is my fun quirk. Like, if I'm in a character mode, I would suggest you not be around me, because you too have entered that character's lair. So that is, if I had to share something with you, I do thank God the person that lives with me and loves me, he will involve himself and be a prop for a little bit with my shenanigans. He will allow it.
Does he dress up?
Yeah.
I need pics. We need proof. He's gonna be a model for one of your covers.
Like, he's like, okay, and I'm like, listen, I need to know how you would react if you were this, and he's just like, you got 10 minutes of this, and I'm like, okay, just do it because I need to get over this hump, and I get to express what I'm going through, and then he'll be the character for me, and it helps and it pushes me through. So a lot of times, and these are all kids books, because a lot of times people are like, you're doing all this like you're writing a cartoon, but remember, in my heart, I want everything that I do to potentially become its own dynasty. Mm-hmm. So I give it that type of love at birth. And so, yeah, I want to immerse myself in that land. I want to immerse myself in chopping wood. I want to know what it's like to have people around you be, frustrated. These are the things that I need to do. And so, yeah, it gets a little nutty around here, but we get results. So.
And that's all that matters. You get the results that you need, and the story is birthed. What advice would you give to somebody coming up?
I would tell them, like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I want you to push through it, because there's so much mental real estate in you that has not been built. There's so many things that you need to lend to the world. There's a message you have. And every time you opt out, people miss out on it. And not just that, you stifle yourself. If this gift is in you and you are suffocating it and you are asking it not to be because it doesn't fit your social life or whatever it is that you've decided to do to make money or for whatever reason, you are killing off a piece of yourself. You are depriving the world of something that you were brought here to give. Mm-hmm. So I would say definitely go forward and do it. I would say do it wholeheartedly too. I'm talking scrape your knee, be prepared to fail. I'm saying go. And I want you to know, go as hard as it takes for you. Even if you feel like you're going to be made fun of, I want you to know there are people who are going to know your past and say, if anybody should be writing a children's book, it shouldn't be you. They don't know the part of you that you are trying to give birth to, though. They know the part of you that you were stifling, trying to find yourself in, and they've counted that as who you are, and you understand why they did that, but that's not who you are. So when they're giving you this negative feedback, when you're afraid of this person's not getting this personal approval, they don't even have the merit that they're supposed to approve you, because they didn't even get to know you.
Yes.
You don't even know what you have to give. So if I had to give it to anybody, is please do it. Because one of the things that happened was I was with somebody and I let them see my children's book and they read it to their kid. They read this book to their kid and the kid liked it so much. And I'm not saying my book is that great because I'm very nervous. I get scared about that. But they liked it so much. They read that book more and more. And they asked me, do you have another book? So I gave them another book and they liked that. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, look, I want to tell you right now, I only got 4. So this is getting short.
You got to write more.
But what happened was, then the kids started to read more books, so on and so forth. The importance of this story is the child that we're discussing was misbehaving, was not interested in learning, was not interested in doing certain things. But they were reading the book out loud. Child heard it, got interested in one. When that happened, I realized in that moment the difference that I was able to help make in that child's life. If I had told myself there's already too many children's book authors, if I had told myself that I can't write books, that child in my network that I was meant to speak to may have missed that message.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many children, look it up, on the earth for us to be worried about how saturated a children's book a children's book industry is, because all those books are probably gathered in the same area and corner of the earth. But you may be the one person in a land where there are not many children's books, where there are not many people reading. And that message that you are stifling, you are keeping them from getting. So I said all that to say, you must do it. Whatever it is, you have to do it. It is your job. It is your duty to do it. And even if you do it, anything worth doing is worth doing wrong. Understand that, so that you can be great when you do it.
Yes, we had somebody said mental real estate. Dope. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
See, we got a message.
Yay.
What would be, that was advice, what would be something that you would warn people, an uppercupper against doing?
Okay.
I made this mistake. Don't do this.
Biggest thing I learned, don't rush it. I learned it late, because once I got hot and I got excited and I met this new me, I knew I had to do it. And I started to feel my nerves come, and I was like, well, I need to hurry up and rush it. And I got impatient. I really want to see the book. So I rushed it in some situations. And because of that, I've had to redo one book 6 times. But I did learn that was my stumbling block, but I don't want to put anybody else through that. Do not rush it, because when your book comes out, people will not remember it for how fast it came out.
Nope.
They will remember it for how good it was, how well it gave the message you were trying to give. And if you have spelling errors, if you have errors in pictures, if it is not delivered properly, you damage the message.
Yes.
So my biggest advice is take your time. Do it at a pace, and when you get frustrated, find yourself some type of treat that you give yourself to let yourself know you're still on the right path. Because that's really what I wanted. I wanted to hold the book because I wanted to know I could become an author. I wanted to know it was possible. I was waiting for the next shoe to drop to stop me, so I was rushing towards this goal. And as I got other books done, I learned that there's healthier ways to keep yourself in success consciousness and aware that you are doing the right thing.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's a piece of advice that when I'm asked that question, that's what I say too. Because I made the same mistake with my first book. I rushed it and I put it out there, and those negative reviews are sitting on Amazon for everybody to see forever. So yes, don't rush. Definitely.
But also, and just like you just said, negative reviews are a part of it. So don't you dare.
You have to learn to accept that too. Yeah. That was a hard pill to swallow. That was hard.
Yes.
That was a lot of tears and a lot of chocolate.
Yeah. Doesn't it hurt? Doesn't it cut you?
It does, because like you said, that's your baby.
Yeah.
So when people think your baby is ugly, that hurts. Right?
Because he got his genes from me.
Right, exactly. That's my face.
Yes.
What are you working on now?
What am I now? Okay. So I have multiple books that I'm working on. I'm always working on Doe because she has to be right. So there's so many different pieces to her, and it's not the books are going to be complicated, but the whole world I'm building around her. I want to make sure everything is consistent. So she's something I'm working on. She's my signature character. I call her my Mickey Mouse, my cat in the hat. So she's got to be perfect. So that's something I'm working on. But the book that I think is going to come out next, it's near ready, is Bad Math. That is my next book, Bad Math. And the last time I shared that, somebody told me, don't share people the name of your. I'm not like that. God gave this to me. You want to copy it? You want to write a book called Bad? You do what you need to do. But
it's not going to be your book. It's still not going to be your book. So.
Yeah. So my book is still going to come out and be called Bad Math. So that's what I'm doing. But Bad Math is about logic. One of the things that kids these days I think are going to miss out on more than even I did at my age is logic, because we have an instantaneous expectation. So we think, if this, then this, if this, then this, and it needs to
Mm-hmm.
be quick. So I want to take time to do a book about doing the long division, about doing the long workout of things, mentally, logically. And I want people to know you can work something out and still get it wrong if you don't look at the whole picture. So, and in that case, that is something I call bad math.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this book, this child who is really big on doing everything right, and you get to see that from the character, hears her dad disagree with somebody and tell them he can't be involved because it's bad math. And when she hears that, she can't sleep at night, because in her mind she's learned math. Did somebody teach her bad math? Could she be doing bad math? Is there something? And so her dad has to help her understand
Figure it
this is
out.
what
Mm-hmm.
bad math is. This is how it works out. And after that, she's able to now identify quote unquote bad math. And the whole point
Mm-hmm.
of this is so that I can hopefully help my readers also have that logical thought process, as best they can at their age, going forward.
Very nice.
Yes.
So, what is one goal that you hope to achieve by the end of this year?
Like December of this, like in two.
Yeah. Yeah, like December, the end of this year.
I definitely want to have Bad Math at a point where it's written fully and edited. I want it to at least be edited and be working on its illustrations. I think that's the big goal for this year.
That's good. That's
Yes.
a good goal. I think setting goals was not something that I did. It's something that I'm just starting to do. Give my yeah. I just wing everything. So but it's a good thing to have. It gives you something to shoot for, and then when you accomplish it, you can reward yourself and you know that you did it.
It's so crazy you say that, because that is exactly kind of what I do and I try to push. That's what Worth the Wood is going to be, is teaching goal setting and the importance, because that's all I do. Like, I read Think and Grow Rich. That is, I will tell anybody, that is what I do. I read it a lot along with other books, but goal setting is how it works. I set my big goal for how many years down. Then I tell myself each year, then what should I have accomplished? That's the next big goal. Then I tell myself for that year what I should have done each month, and then I break down my weeks that way. So now I know how this works. I work backwards. You figure out the big goal, and then you break down your goals backwards this way,
Mm-hmm.
so that when life happens and you get off track, you can see exactly where to jump back on.
I
And
have that book.
so that is a thing.
I need to read it.
Yes, read it. Read it.
Dolly, this was great. This
Thank
was absolutely
you.
great speaking to you. You did fabulous.
Nervous.
So natural. You would never know. Just a complete natural. It's just a conversation. That's
Thank
all.
you so very much. Hopefully, can you tell I'm passionate about this? Can you
Yes,
tell this is
it
what I'm
comes through. It comes
okay?
through. Now tell people where to find you. So, for anybody who's going to watch the replay, where they can find your books, your website if you have one. Let them know.
Yes. So you can go to fawnfables.com, and that is my website, and links to the books are there. If you follow me at all, which you should follow me, I'll follow you back. I follow everybody back, even the Forex people. I gotta stop doing that. But I follow everyone back. I am
Yes,
Dollyah. Yes, I am Dollyah Deering. I'm at Dollyah Deering, so it's DOLLYAHDEERING. So at Dollyah Deering, you can also find me at Fawn Fables LLC. That's also my Instagram. And my books are on my links for highlights. They're in the bio. Like, you will find links to my books on my pages and on my things, because I want you to get the message. So yes.
Yes. Dollyah, it was awesome talking to you. For all our viewers, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Follow her, follow me. Let's chat. Let's
Follow
get
her.
to know each other more. Okay, guys?
Yes.
So if you're watching the replay, make sure you comment and like. Thank you for
And
tuning
I
in.
want to say this really quickly, if she will let me. I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank you for taking a chance on responding to me. This woman did not know me, still does not fully even know me, but she reached out to me and decided, hey, you're another author, you want to move forward. Anything that I can offer, I will offer. And it makes a difference. We have been talking about this for way before. And the fact that you would even take that time to care, I want you to know I am so grateful to be in your network and to be aligned with you. And I can't wait to see you and get to where you are. So I just wanted to say thank you.
It is my absolute pleasure. And my belief is just paying it forward, because somebody, and I'll tell you, one of my very first interviews was with a friend, J.L. Rothstein. And she's another author. And out of the blue, same way, we just started talking on Twitter, and she was like, hey, come jump on my YouTube channel. Interview right there. And it's just about paying it forward, because you just never know who's going to tune in. You never know what connections you're going to meet. And you know what? When you blow up, you can buy me a house, and that's how it goes.
I can do that. I can do that.
So that's all it is. As you progress, help the person behind you come up. That's it.
You are tied to my success. Yes.
See, there you go. That's it. In a nutshell, that is it.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Bye.